Welcome back to MMA Oddsbreaker. I'm Frank Trigg. This week, on the other end of the phone line, we have Isaac Vallie-Flagg getting ready to fight Takanori Gomi coming up in UFC 172. Of course, UFC 172 is the return of Jon Jones with Glover Teixeira. First, Isaac, I know you're in the middle of training camp and you only think about Takanori Gomi, but who do you think wins that fight between Jones and Teixeira? It's going to be Jones, the champ, or do you think we're going to see a new champ at the end of that fight?
I got to go. I mean, number one, John's my teammate, so I'm always going with the team. But then also, being in this camp, I saw John work so hard for Teixeira. He's not taking him lightly at all, and he knows that Teixeira is like a serious threat. So he's really he put in the work that he needs to make sure that he beats Glover. Man, the dude is on point for this fight. We actually just finished a workout together. He hit mitts right before I hit mitts, and we were getting our last really hard session in together. So,
Have you seen a change in John mentally? Has he become more focused since his last fight because of the injuries and how deep in the water he had to go in his last fight? Do you see him being more mentally strong, or has he always been as mentally strong as he is now?
He's always been a mentally strong guy, but he came back from this to this camp more focused than I've ever seen him ever. All the guys around here saw it with him, and all the guys around here kind of really emulated his work ethic on this last camp, just kind of following in his suit because he's been working so hard.
And just so you know, you're the fourth guy I've asked, and everyone has come back with the exact same response, whether they work with Jones or not. They've all said that this is a brand new Jones. We're going to see somebody new, and that they've all said that he is absolutely the champ. And it's very difficult to pick against a guy like Jon Jones because of his athletic ability, and how hard he is.
Yeah, I mean, he's a great combination of, he's always had athletic talent. He's always been very gifted as far as the fighting game. And now you're seeing, and he's always worked hard, but I mean, now you're seeing an even harder working John. And I think it's going to really show in this fight, and it's actually really cool to watch, and it kind of is like the perfect storm or whatever you want to call it,
Right. All right. Well, let's talk about your fight. Enough talking about Jon Jones. Who cares about that guy?
Yeah, who cares about him? Whatever.
No. You're fighting Takanori Gomi, who is an absolute legend in the sport, especially coming out of Japan. He's on the tail end of his career. Even though he's 34-9, he was one of the better guys of the weight class, a couple of years ago. But now he's not as dominating as he used to be. And so if you look at records, if the people at home are looking at records, they're going, where Isaac's only 14-4, Takanori's 34-19, it's a huge disparity, but it's not. This is a really, really close, very tough fight. How do you see Gomi now as a competitor?
He's had a year off, so, I honestly think he probably took this last year to refresh himself. And I think he's going to come out, and you're going to see one of the better versions of Gomi. That's what I'm getting ready for. Because, I mean, he has had kind of some bumps in the road lately, but the only guys who are beating him are top-notch guys, And so, is he at the tail end of his career? I mean, who knows? He could have been getting burned out, and he could come back completely fresh, and that's kind of what I'm preparing for. I hope personally I get the best Gomi that there is, and really get a chance to shine with that Gomi.
If you had explained your style to somebody at home, somebody brand new to the UFC, somebody's grandfather or somebody's girlfriend or boyfriend is watching the fights for the first time, how would you describe your style to the first time?
I like to tell people, and I joke about this all the time, I get punched in the face repeatedly until the other guy gasses, then I take over. So...
I was going to say, I was going to make a joke. You have a really good defensive style where you block every punch with your face.
Yes, I really, that's the one thing that I'm trying to change, because I think I have a grinding style, but my only complaint, and a lot of the complaints of my friends watching me, is that I eat too many punches, which I don't want to do. So I would definitely say I'm a grinder. I like to set a pace and really, try to push people until they break, and then push them farther than that, So I'm more of a grinder, and like I said, my only problem is I like to eat too many punches, and I hate wrestling.
Well, you're in the Winklejohn Wink camp. I mean, or excuse me, the Jackson Wink camp, and it's like it's all wrestlers and guys that know how to defensively know how to protect themselves. Are they yelling at you to, hey, look, you got to spend more time wrestling? Are they getting on you to kind of change your style up a little bit? Or are they just understand that's who you are, and they're just trying to develop your skill level from where you're standing.
No, I'm the kind of guy who always likes to get better and likes to improve in areas. And it's been frustrating. I lost my last fight based on takedowns and ground control, so it's something that I worked on. I've been working on for my entire career as my wrestling. That being said, I'm starting from such a deficit because I was never a wrestler. I don't have that pedigree of even high school wrestling or anything, that a lot of these guys have. So I'm working from zero, and I'm trying to get in with the coaches and do enough because that's what Wink, Greg, Izzy, our wrestling coach, everybody is yelling at me about is doing more wrestling. And I really have tried to focus on that this camp. And it's finally starting to kind of, I'm starting to realize exactly what I need to do for my wrestling and what kind of style I need to have for wrestling so that it works for me,
Yeah, and you're doing a great job of it. And honestly, if you go back and look at how you've been fighting and how your record's been going, that, you lost your last one against Slaverio, but, in UFC Fight Night is a decision. You've really found a way to kind of maintain this pace. You had 3 split decisions in a row, starting back in 2011 with Brian McKenna and then Cavalcante and then Eve Edwards. So you win three splits in a row. Was that shaky going into the Eve Edwards fight? Like, I've already got 2 splits in a row that I won, and now it's decision time, and it's coming up. You're like, is this one to go my way or not?
Okay, so here's the thing. That pisses me off because my only fight that I thought was a real split decision was the one with Melanson, and that one could have won either way. If you watch the Jay-Z fight, he beat me the first round, and I very clearly dominated him round 2 and 3 with my standing. And then I got a split on that. And the Eves fight, I thought I won round 2 and 3, rounds 1 and 3 in that, and I should have got a unanimous. That being said, finishing a guy like Eves is hard to do. And also, I went into that fight, and I tell people this all the time. Joe Stevenson is one of my closest friends in the world, and he shows up because he was so proud of me getting in the UFC and gives me this big hug, and then tells me how Max is sick and he's sick, and I got I got bronchitis and a flu 2 days before that Eves fight. So I fought Eves with a flu and with bronchitis. So trying to finish Eves instead of pace on a guy like Eves with that kind of being that sick, it's tough to do, man. So, I don't like getting split decisions. Nobody does. I don't like going to decision. I'd rather end a fight and go eat a cheeseburger,
Yeah, exactly. And we're all in the same boat. We all would rather do that.
Yeah. But, and that's the thing, so those splits, it's kind of hard to say. You look at my record and I have split decisions. And like I said, the only one I really felt like was a split was the Melanson fight. That one I stood up afterwards and I went over to Keith Jardine and Tom Watson were cornering me, and I was like, shit, man, did I just win that fight or no? And the other 2, I knew that I had won the other 2 fights, I don't see how I got a split on either one of them. So, but
well, Isaac, I know you just got to practice, and I know you got to get ready to get something to eat. So I appreciate you coming out here for a couple minutes with the MMA Oddsbreaker. Have fun against Takanori Gomi, and I can't wait to have you on again.
Thanks, man. I can't wait till I'm less grumpy. I'd like to come on when I'm not so grumpy. So
you weren't bad at all, Isaac. It was actually pleasurable.
All right, man. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, bye now.